Welcome, folks, to the Exit Only Theater podcast. I'm here with the few, the proud, JP Leigh. Yeah, one of the worst jokes. I literally wrote it down. I was like, this one's gonna hit. You
delivered that like you wrote it down.
I could have went Connor, but we're not going the Connor today.
No.
But I'm here with JP Leigh.
We are 20 seconds in, and we're already off to a great start.
The greatest. All right, and I'm Adrian, Alderete.
Yes, you are.
Welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. And today we'll be recapping the Kitten Convention of Bristol, Connecticut. We are no longer reviewing movies.
No, ever. We're taking a serious turn in another direction.
Siamese cats. Tell me about it. All right. No, seriously, we are recapping one of the most memorable, fun, and probably the most entertaining Comic-Cons of recent memory. Probably the last decade.
I would say so.
Today we'll be breaking down Star Wars, that panel. Mm-hmm. We'll be breaking down Warner Brothers' presentation of Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman. We're going to be breaking down Fox's Deadpool.
Yep.
And X-Men Apocalypse. We're skipping Fantastic Four because, it looks like it sucks.
The studio essentially skipped Fantastic Four as well.
Exactly. When you trot it out first, like, Fantastic Four! Yeah!
You're like...
Yeah!
Alright.
Oh, God, no.
I'm like afraid to make eye contact with anyone.
God. Yeah! Yeah, one guy. Yes!
This is what you do, right? You clap.
Alright, no, alright. But we're going to be going in chronological order as of how, all the events went down this weekend. So we're going to start with the first. The first one came out Friday. And that will be Star Wars The Force Awakens, led by Emperor Abrams, who shows zero footage.
You're so upset about this, my goodness.
Well, look at the guy. He's a fake Spielberg. Yeah, you're welcome. Alright, I said it. Alright, so basically, let's first break down what happened at the Star Wars panel.
Okay.
We got there, J.J. Abrams and President Kathleen Kennedy of Lucasfilm, she's really great, came out, and basically the entire panel was about The Force Awakens.
Yes.
I know before we kind of predicted a lot of things.
Hoping some Rogue One, stuff like that.
Yeah, just something up the slate, but no, they wanted to keep it Force Awakens, but they held up to their end by showing no footage from the movie. They showed no footage, but they trotted out the cast. Mm-hmm. They did a neat thing where they broke down the new heroes, the new villains, and they brought out obviously the original three and Luke, Leia, and Han Solo. Obviously, and that was Harrison Ford's first appearance since his plane crash in March.
He looked good.
He looked good. With his grizzled voice, he was. I'm not gonna do it because I did it earlier.
We lost it.
And you threw up. And you're like, oh god, no.
It wasn't a bad throw-up reaction. It was more, I almost did a spit take and
it was a gag reflex. Yeah, it's like me at the club. Like, hey, you want a drink? Oh god.
Imagine
oh god.
At
no.
the club.
Oh. Like I go to the club, the Sam's Club. That's the club I hit up.
That's so sad.
I have a card.
I'm a member.
I'm a lifetime member. But the couple things that they did very neat is they did show really cool behind the scenes footage that they later released right after they showed it, which was really, really cool.
A lot of the studios got to jump on that stuff, for the most part.
Yeah, and we'll break that down in a moment, but we're just recapping everything they did. And the coolest thing they did is afterwards, J.J. Abrams invited roughly all the 6,500 people that were there to a concert right outside Hall H to play with a full orchestra and everything.
I want to get into this.
Some of the Star Wars greatest hits, which is pretty neat. That's unheard of. There was a fireworks show and everything. They handed out lightsabers.
It was incredibly Disney. It was incredibly Disney.
It was very Disney, but it was very neat. It was a different fan experience. It wasn't like your prototypical Comic-Con experience.
Which you have to give them credit for that.
Which was very neat. It was led by stormtroopers, led them outside.
There's 4,000 people with lightsabers.
They handed out these little glow sticks,
concert.
and it was so cool. That being said, now we're gonna kind of just let's kind of break down what we learned and what we didn't learn. Mm-hmm. What we didn't learn was here's the thing. What we didn't learn is also what we did learn as well, because J.J. Abrams came out and said we're not going to show any new footage or any new trailer until the fall.
Right.
Rogue One doesn't start shooting until 3 weeks from now.
Right, which takes away the fact that we thought maybe they were shooting.
We thought they were, and I thought they were too, but they're taking their sweet time. But you know what? If they're in no rush, screw it. If they can turn it out really quick, fine.
Yeah.
But they spilled no news. They spilled nothing. They didn't show anything. It was more like to put it meanly, it was just like a beauty pageant. It's like, hey, take a spin around.
All right.
That's what it was. It was a beauty pageant. But yeah, they that's pretty much what they did. But let's go back and let's break down what they did. How did you feel? Because obviously we're both Star Wars fans, right. But I thought the neatest thing, and I know because when I was watching it, I know dude, JP, this was made for JP. Awesome. Everything about Star Wars, aside from the footage, was celebrated. The practical effects, the music, the characters, all that cool stuff. Based on that, how did you feel about them not showing any footage from The Force Awakens?
For me, and this is going back to what we said in our sort of pre-Comic-Con show, I didn't have a problem with it. And I still stand by that because of the fact that, yes, it was a celebration of Star Wars, but I think it was also sort of a reassurance that the Star Wars brand is in good hands. Yeah. And they did a good job of it. It's a thing that Disney and J.J. Abrams do. They keep things close to the chest. Yeah. But they also find ways to remind you why you love this product in the first place. Yeah. Everything about this is very commercial. Star Wars is just a money-making machine. Yeah. But they do a good job of reminding you, the music is a constant force in all now 7 films in the episode series. So let's make that a focal point. And to me, being a French horn player since I was 10 years old, I love John Williams. And you saw my reaction when I first saw the teaser back in April. Yeah. I lost my lid when I saw that John Williams was coming back.
She had Tupperware. She literally lost the lid.
I literally threw it. I don't know where it went. But for me personally, and I'm sure there are a lot of other fans, having the music be the focus on the latter section of the panel and seeing J.J. Abrams kind of nerd out about that was fun to just see, the guy who's at the helm of this is I nerded out when I talked to John Williams about making the music for a movie I made. That's insane. That's so cool. I think that was awesome. I love the behind the scenes. I teared up a little bit just because
hey, that's okay, man. That's okay.
It reassured me that they might actually be doing this exactly the way they should be. That like we said, they're emphasizing the fact that things are being practical. We are shooting things that are actually in front of the camera. We're shooting on film, which you say is, for whatever... I mean, I know that they've been heavy-handed about that. We're being very realistic. We're being very tangible. But that's what they use Comic-Con for. And it's different, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and I will preface this before I unleash the hate. The Hate Awakens. That's what I'm calling my segment.
Oh, damn.
Because, look, it was really cool. Because when you and I spoke about it, It was celebrating the fans in a different way. Yeah. It was them saying, hey, let's try to do something different. And I applaud them for trying to do something different. But it fell flat to me. Because, in my opinion, when you're trying to sell a movie, you should show something from the movie.
But you didn't get anything out of the behind the scenes?
No, it was cool.
You don't get any plot, but didn't you get any appreciation of all right, I'm even more excited about this now?
Yeah, I wasn't more excited. No,
really?
I disagree. I won't say that because I saw it and I'm like, and that leads to my point of the entire video was just them saying, hey, practical effects, nostalgia.
But it was a closed set, so it's the first time you saw that.
No, believe me, cool.
That's so cool.
Cool set. I would like to have seen that after I saw the movie.
Yeah, I can't wait to see more featurettes on
because for instance, imagine seeing the behind the scenes of a magic trick before you saw the magic trick, and I think that would kind of take away from the magic trick. So I'm like, you know what? Show me the magic. I'm like, unless if you're getting to the point where everything's so practical that there's a real lightsaber out there, you know what? Show it off. Show me cutting some ham. I'm down for that.
So you're not content with just seeing the stage. You want to see.
Call me greedy, but yes, I was not.
Okay.
I wasn't.
Okay.
But that leads to my question. I was not satisfied because, and this is my question to you. Mm-hmm. Imagine if you were at Comic-Con and you waited because people waited for days to get in line for that panel.
Right.
Imagine if you were to have stood in line for 4 hours and then you got that show. Would that wait have been worth it?
See, there's a trick question though, because if I were in line for 4 hours and didn't get donuts from J.J. Abrams, I'd be pissed. But they got donuts from J.J. Abrams. That's awesome. Maybe not from that particular line, but there was a group in line for some Star Wars event in the weekend.
You're telling me
donuts are important, damn it.
He fattened you for the kill. That's what you did.
That's exactly what happened. No, but seriously, it's an unorthodox approach.
Yeah.
But I kind of appreciate it. You have donuts, you have symphonies. You've got lightsabers by the thousands, people just wandering around. I mean, they're branded with, some sponsorship, but still, it's cool.
Yeah, but imagine being, line waiter number 1033, and he didn't get the donut. And he's just like, hey man!
Fine. So you're worried about the disgruntled 3 people at the back of the line. Totally fine. But for me, like, if I'm in Hall H, and I get to see that cast, like, there's some value to that. I know that's cool, the normal, like, that it's Comic-Con, you're supposed to see the panel.
Yeah.
But it's Star Wars. It's not like you're unveiling, like, the Suicide Squad, which we'll get to later. Like, that's cool, but, like, they don't have 30 years, 35 years of build-up. Like, this is a cool culmination, and I don't think they had to do anything else.
I think it would have been cooler
if the movie turns out
because,
to be
like, this is the thing. Like, they did show that one character, the practical character, the weird alien dude.
Yeah.
That was the one dude they showed.
Stan Winston.
I'm like,
better.
I agree, but like, I think it would have been cool if, like, instead have a fucking excuse me, like, have a freaking
okay, I've cursed already.
Have a freaking like a practical costume fashion show or something like that. That would have been cool.
That would be cool. Like, do a little runway of just, like, some of the
just do a runway of here's some of our stuff. Check this out. This is what you're going to be cosplaying next year, losers. No, I'm joking. I love those guys. No. Like, this is what you're going to be cosplaying next year. I'm like, that would have been cool. Like, that's the thing. Like, you don't even have to show anything. Show us the characters. Instead, you just trot out this one dude that we saw from the UNICEF video a year ago.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, that's very clever, Abrams. Nice job.
Yeah, like you're expecting people not to know that.
This is the thing, like, he's trying to be slick. I think he just tries too hard. I'm like Tarantino's the same way, but at least Tarantino's out there, talks about the film, all this stuff. Abrams is just like, I'll tell you some, but I'm not going to tell you everything, alright?
You should see the face he's making while he's doing this. It's perfect. No, but he has a track record of doing it even when he's not with Disney, so I can see it being a little frustrating for you, but... it's just kind of like Disney and JJ's MO. It's just they know they're powerful enough not to have to show.
I don't like that he knows that he's powerful because he's not that good.
Which bothers you, but
because he's not Spielberg. Well, he thinks he's Spielberg.
He's better than Zack Snyder.
How dare you? Especially after the footage we saw. How dare you?
We will jump to Zack Snyder.
Walking away.
I dropped the mic. Why are you walking away?
Don't you dare make me drop this ball mic that we have. Our mic is a ball.
Sphere.
It's called a snowball. I would literally throw the snowball.
It looks like a Ridley Scott prop.
If you just hear, it means it's gone. All right, but no.
Rolling away.
Our last question for this, so we can wrap up Star Wars. Thank God. Based off what you saw at Comic-Con, and like strictly just by what you saw at Comic-Con, are you any more or less excited for The Force Awakens?
Because it was a closed set, and I got to see my behind the scenes, and because of the fact that they played to my John Williams fandom.
Yeah, that's
true. We've already talked about it. I have his autograph sitting there.
I know, he's looking at me. He
stares right at you, judging you for not being more excited about
this. Nice
I would say, so apparently John Williams sounds like Sean Connery.
Okay, let's keep going. Just keep going.
Let it go. We'll cut it out later. Fix it in post. I would say yes. That would be my answer. As yes? I was considerably more excited about the film.
I'm gonna say this. I'm still excited for the movie, but based off what they did at Comic-Con, I'm not more excited for it.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not less excited, but I have more hate for J.J. Abrams now.
You have more distrust of their marketing, I think. But do you distrust
not so much the marketing,
his quality of films?
Well, yeah. This is the thing, like, Super 8, most overrated movie ever made.
What?
But,
there's so many more. I mean, it's not great, but there's so many more.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the guy has a track record on TV, not on film. But that being said, that's another discussion. But I'm not less excited, but I'm more disappointed that they could have done more. But I think the Contra thing was pretty cool. That's another neat way. But that's the thing. Overall, I give it a solid panel. I give it like B minus. That's the thing.
We're already excited for the movie anyway.
We're excited for the movie, but alright. Now now we're transitioning to Saturday's day at Comic-Con, which was like this is where everything went down. So we're gonna start off with Warner Brothers, who everybody was like, oh dude, they're gonna start off with, it's gonna be all Batman v Superman. And what came out first? The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And it was like, okay, because I was following this live on Twitter. It's like, here comes Man of Uncle?
Question it was like a really long trailer.
And then like everybody's like, we'll not be tweeting until Batman comes out. And then after that, they're like, all right, here it comes. And what came out afterwards? Pan. Oh man. And a lot of people literally thought a Pan was coming out. I was like, wait, what the hell is this movie? Hugh Jackman came out. They're like, hey, what's Wolverine doing on Pan?
Is this Fox's turn? What is happening?
They have a new cooking show called Pan. But no, then finally that wrapped up. And then what came next was actually a very pleasant surprise. Suicide Squad came out. Holy crap. And this is the thing, like, obviously, like, first David Ayer came out. And then, if you guys aren't familiar with David Ayer, he directed Fury. He helped write, oh my god, it's escaping me. The movie with Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena.
Watch something. Watch.
End of Watch.
End of Watch.
Yeah, End of Watch, and like he helped also write Training Day as well. Mm-hmm. So this guy is like a total this guy's a man's man. This guy's a quality
film.
Yeah,
creator,
and like the guy's getting better and better. And he came out and he's like swearing up and down, "Hey, what the hell is up, yo?" He came out and basically like just riled up the crowd. He's just like, enough of this like good versus evil like shit.
Yeah,
and he's like, I think it's time for bad versus evil. And I was like,
what?
Okay. Dropping my pants right now. Okay, and then, like, he brought out the cast. They all flew from Toronto because they're still shooting.
In the middle of filming, yeah.
They're still filming, so they all, like, I said Toronto, but they're in Canada.
Yeah.
They came down, everybody, except minus Jared Leto. But
which
everybody...
adds to the mystique of the thing.
Which it does.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, what's up? And they all wanted to be there. The enthusiasm was there. Mm-hmm. They couldn't answer any questions, but they're like, hey, we got a surprise for you. They showed a teaser trailer.
And was it? It was like 3 minutes long.
Yeah, and I'm glad because yesterday, because like obviously we couldn't see it because we weren't there, but a lot of people leaked at stuff. We're not a fan. That's the thing. Like here at Exit Only Theater, we're not fans of showing you terrible quality footage, even if it is a leak.
It's not the intention of the creators. It's
not meant to do that, and you guys shouldn't be sharing it either because the studio. Like, you could say what you want and say, oh, what the studio just, like, is going to wait, we want to see it now.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's like, when you finally saw it in HD, it's like, holy crap. That's when it changed your life. Yo, holy crap. But then, alright, so, like, let's get into the actual trailer. Holy crap.
Just from as an editor by trade, that trailer, the way that they constructed it, the way that just Viola Davis just is just incredible, providing a nice little like context for someone like me who didn't grow up with Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And the song in the latter half of it,
dude,
it's like a perfect trailer.
Yeah,
it's like a perfect trailer.
It was an amazing trailer, and that's the thing. Like when you trot that out first before Batman v Superman, and like
you run the risk of it stealing the show.
You do, and like we'll talk about next. Mm-hmm. But like, holy crap! Basically, like if you guys haven't seen the trailer, go online, Google it because it was finally officially released by Warner Brothers.
Check it out.
And it basically one at a time you see like these dudes that are locked up, like these like guys who are never gonna get released from prison. And they're like Amanda Waller, who's played by Viola Davis, is like, I gathered the worst of the worst. And it's like, let's just say I threw them in the hole and then threw away the hole. I'm like, holy crap!
Oh
and then you see like a rip of all these cool characters, and then obviously at the end you see the Joker, like the way we've been like speculating of seeing him for so long. Like, is Jared Leto? Is he the Joker? Can he nail it? All right. That being said, let's break down the trailer.
Okay.
All right, Margot Robbie.
I have tidbit on the info of the song.
Oh, no, yeah, it's the Bee Gees, you know that.
It's 1968 Bee Gees song. It's
and they
awesome.
just resung it to make it depressing and scary,
it's so
but
intense.
it's fine.
So intense.
But here, let's break it down. Margot Robbie.
Yes.
A lot of people were like I'll reference this at the end of this argument.
Okay.
But some people were speculative, like, all right, can she nail the character? Mm-hmm. For someone that I know you, since you don't, you're not into the comics and all that stuff,
not as intensely
or the 90s, the 90s animated series,
right,
which when she was created. How did you feel about her as Harley Quinn?
For me, I did a little research, so I didn't go in completely blindly.
Yeah.
But I don't have the years of experience with it.
Yeah.
From someone like me who did not even know if I wanted to see this movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm almost most excited about her character more than anything else. Like, obviously, as an ensemble piece, like, it's going to be incredible. But I think from what I know about that character and where this could, from what you've explained to me, where this could potentially go.
Yeah.
I feel like she could be like one of those like intensely like Black Widow steals the show kind of thing. Like she could be the evil version of that, where she just kind of, whatever scene she's in, she might steal the show, which is awesome.
When you watch the trailer, you could see that her character's going to play an interesting role in this.
She is featured prominently in the trailer.
Because, for those of you that are not very familiar with the storyline of the character Harley Quinn, she was created in the 90s animated series. And basically, her character was formerly a sane person. She was a very intelligent person. She was a psychiatrist at Arkham Asylum.
She got too close to the fire.
This is the thing. Who was one of her patients? The Joker, when he was locked up. And what happens when you get exposed to the Joker? And that's the thing. Like, obviously, the Joker find a way to manipulate her and change her into making her basically like his number two.
Right.
And basically, and in this trailer, when you watch it closely, when you see the scenes of like a woman in like a doctor's jacket, like being like manhandled or whatever, that's her. That's her. What we're seeing is the transition of to Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie's character turning into Harley Quinn. It's probably
going to be like a flashback or something.
It'll probably be a flashback. Yeah, because this is not. Yeah, because this is not an origin story for Harley Quinn.
No, it looks like they're going to drop you into like they're going to be assembled.
Yeah, because like if you watch like when the Joker's like holding like two things in his hand, it looks like two electrical charges, and he's like I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really, really bad. He's not talking to somebody else. He's talking to Margot Robbie.
Which when you told me that, I was like, oh my god, that's so much more intense.
When you break it down, you're just like, that's her.
Especially when it's like if they worked together at some point, and then there's like the layers to this could be so much more compelling than most Marvel things.
Because obviously, like as a psychiatrist, maybe she did that same like treatment to him, the electroshock therapy to the Joker, and he's coming returning the favor when he broke out. So it's like, holy crap, this is violent.
That adds a layer of what's the word? It validates sort of the crazy in Jared Leto's character that I'm a little skeptical about. Yeah. My question to you, this is a superficial side note, you can just say yes or no. Do you like the grills that he's wearing?
Because like I said, like I remember I talked to you just before we started the show. Yeah. I think David Ayer, the director, knows how to capture what was the word that I used? Basically like the gang atmosphere of today's world. Because you could like put like it's like, oh, let's just put a Mexican in a white beater. That's a gangster. No. This guy understands the culture.
Contemporary.
If you watch End of Watch, when you watch any of his like his work, he knows how to capture like the realistic gang. I
feel like an episode of Cops sometimes.
And then like when you how do you instead of putting like instead of doing the Tim Burton way of like, hey, let's drop the real world into Batman's world or the Joker's world, let's do the opposite. Let's drop the Joker into real life world. What if he was a gangster in like Southern California?
Yeah.
Let's say he's on the south side. Like, what if the Joker was that? And it's like, he would look like that.
That's interesting, because some of the perspectives online have been that it's going to date the movie in 6 or 7 years. Yeah. You know, you're going to look at it and be like, what is that? But it's a good point. If everything else is realistic, then it could work. Yeah, and like another things from the trailer, like Cara Delevingne, she like the girl who's in the cave, kind of like looking around, and then later sitting in that black tub with the 5-pointed star. You know, I think from the way it looks, because in the photos released before Comic-Con, they show her amongst the Suicide Squad. In this trailer, it looks like this is probably isolated. She might be the person they're going after, rescuing, or probably trying to kill. Speculation, but it does seem like that could be
because she's not pictured with them at all.
No,
but it was really cool. Let's break down Will Smith now. He looks like he's going to play a major role, but he's not good. I don't think he's the main character.
No, I don't think so either. I think he carries weight into the movie, and it validates the fact that not that everyone else isn't a well-known actor. I think Jared Leto's obviously arguably comparable to him at this point, where they are both in their careers.
Yeah,
but I'm a little worried, just a little bit, that he's not going to, because it's a blockbuster film, I don't know if he's going to remember to, like,
dial it down,
be like the serious actor Will Smith versus being the iRobot actor. You know, like, I feel like he might just, like you said before, like, the way he delivers certain lines, I'm like, that could have been Agent J in Men in Black.
Let's go save the world.
Yeah, like there's just a little too much like Michael Bay-ish in the way he delivers the lines, and I'm like just a little worried about that. But I also really want him to do well in this movie. So I think giving him the benefit of the
because
doubt.
I think this will be the first time his role is more of a part of a big machine instead of him being the machine.
And I want to see how he does with that because that's not something. I mean, he works really well in pairs. Like he's always really good when he's playing off of one other person. Yeah. I want to see what happens when he's the pseudo de facto, not really, like you said, not really leader, but I want to see how that works. Because
basically, and like I just try to preface this too, for those of you not familiar with Suicide Squad, it's basically a team of incarcerated folks who are never getting out, that the government decides to say, you know what, for our most dangerous missions, like you see the trailer, you basically get it.
Yeah, like, it makes sense once you see it.
But basically, like what they do is like they're forced into doing these missions. Because if they don't do it, they'll be killed. Because like no one cares about them. If they die, no one cares. But so they're like, what Amanda Waller does is like, hey, maybe I'll shorten your sentence. Maybe I'll be a little bit lenient. Maybe I'll throw some decent food your way. If you do this, if you don't, I'll kill you. And so either way, they have to do it.
I like that, and you've explained to me how she ups the ante for them. But I like how they don't mention a lot of those details in the trailer. So it really, for someone like me who may not know all these details. Yeah. It gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah, it's like, for instance, it's like, it's like, instead of trying to contain a mad dog, just unleash that mad dog into another worse dog.
Yeah.
And have him take that out.
That's the way this movie's going to be. My friend, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know what? I think this is going to be really cool. This is going to be unlike any superhero movie or like Dirty Dozen style kind of men on a suicide mission kind of movie that we've seen in a long time, and I'm really excited because tonally it looks great. But like the last thing we'll close off with is Jared Leto's Joker. Based off the really quick snippet, do you like or do you dislike?
I was very negative going into it, so I'm pleasantly surprised that I didn't, because I'm basically preset to like just not liking it.
Yeah.
And I liked it. Like I'm not saying like I'm gonna pick him as my favorite Joker. Like I have to see the movie first for that. But I'm not hating on it the way you're hating on JJ's.
Oh yeah, no, that's
stuff. But you know what I mean? Like I was.
You're intrigued. I was intrigued. You're more excited about the Joker than this now.
Than I was originally. Yeah.
So like, my bit, because obviously you can see my Facebook page. I'm a big fan of Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah,
I think that character was awesome for that movie. That being said, this one, based on what I saw from Jared Leto in this one, you get where they're going at. He's just as mad.
Yeah.
He still has that like anarchist spirit, but he's not trying to do like some sort of social experiment the way Heath Ledger does.
Grandiose.
You could tell that they're like, this guy is just a criminal. He's just a criminal, and like obviously we'll hit on that for Batman v Superman trailer because there was a little nugget in there.
Yeah.
And
that would be cool to see if those things are connected.
I think there's no doubt they're connected, and that's why like with them building the universe that they have going on, I'm really excited. But yeah, I'm really excited because I said before, I'm like, the Joker. You don't cast Jared Leto, who happens to be a rock star, unless Joker is gonna carry himself like a rock star.
Yeah.
Like when you see him, like when you see the shot of Batman on top of the car ripping the roof off, and Harley Quinn's like, I hope you have insurance.
Yeah.
Like. You don't drive that kind of car, and you're the Joker unless you're like some baller that has grills and all this stuff, dude.
No sense of consequences.
That's the thing. Like they're updating the Joker. Not every Joker is gonna be the same.
No, not every Joker is the same. So.
And it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah,
it's not like.
I think it's just like we said before. It's the same problem that I might have with Batman is that the dust hasn't settled on the other franchise. Yeah. Yes, the Joker didn't make an appearance in The Dark Knight Rises, but. There's just, it feels like it's so quick to reboot. It's almost like a Spider-Man syndrome, but we'll get to it.
This is really unique, but I think we're both unanimously in that we're both even more excited about this movie if we weren't before.
Yeah.
All right, so let's transition to the main event, basically, of probably the weekend, like Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman came out next, and before we get into, obviously they showed the trailer, but we'll talk about it in a second. But they also came out with some little bit of info. But when the panel started, they had like a reel of concept art of Green Lantern, and they came out and they said, "It's like, guess what? We have a Green Lantern movie in the works. It's going to be called Green Lantern Corps." And they also showed some sizzle reel of concept art for the whole Justice League, including Ezra Miller as the Flash. He did have long hair. For people that care about that stuff. I know Sean Howard does. He does have long hair. And our friend Sean Howard, live from Toronto. But man, dude, like that was pretty cool. So we're like, now they did not confirm that it was Chris Pine. But that being said, you don't lead with that unless you know you have your guys that are part of the team.
That's the strongest rumor going in. Unless Tyrese is locking it down, but
let's
I highly doubt that.
All right, but then also, like, obviously, like, they brought out the cast. They brought out the big guns. Jesse Eisenberg was there as Lex Luthor. And like Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Jeremy Irons was there, and then it was really cool. They brought out the stars, and they actually answered really cool questions. But let's get to the meat of it. Okay. They released the next trailer, and it's honestly the first legit trailer that we get.
Full trailer. Yeah.
All right. Initially, let's talk about what's going on in this trailer. From someone who does not know the Batman story the way I do, and like the Superman universe the way I do, or some others do, what did you think was going on in the trailer?
Okay, so I'm glad you're prefacing it with this to start out, because the first time I saw the trailer, I was overwhelmed in a good way by the fact that the scale of it, the context of just this epic battle, looks incredible. Within like 5 minutes of like at the end of it, I'm sitting to myself and I'm like, I don't understand how they're going to make this make sense to someone like me, because it's intriguing, like the idea of the two of them fighting. Yeah. But I was like, how are they going to? In maybe the first 30 minutes of the movie, because I feel like after 30 minutes you've either set up the scenario for the film or you haven't at that point. How are you going to make this make sense to me as someone who knows these two characters?
Someone who isn't like the comic book reader.
Yeah, someone who hasn't read this series, doesn't know what the backstory is, what happened. I was just sitting there like, I want to see this, but I have no idea how I'm not going to resent the fact that it's going to feel rushed to me.
Yeah.
Unless they have a way of figuring it out. But that was my first impression of it. It was like, yes, I want to see this. I just don't know if I'm going to believe what I'm seeing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and for me, being someone who does know what's going on. Right. And in a way, I remember when we were talking about it, you bring up a good point, because this trailer, honestly, it wasn't built for that fan.
No, it wasn't. I was supposed to be a little confused.
And I think, and I was talking to my brother about this last night, this was kind of, for everyone that knows the Dark Returns comic book storyline, this was the Force Awakens trailer for Batman people.
Yeah, it was an ode to you guys.
It was because this is the thing. This is gonna lead my tonight and next question to you.
Okay.
And then I'll kind of rebut on that.
Sounds good.
Because this is the kind of story that we haven't seen, that we've always wanted on screen before, but they're like, no one's ever gonna get it right. And say what you want about Zack Snyder, but like when you watch Watchmen, when you have the story right and he handles it correctly, he will put it on screen. He will put it like literally on screen. That being said, everything that's going on in the trailer, for this Bruce Wayne that we saw,
right?
This is, again, like, for someone who doesn't read the comics, based off what we've seen on film from all the Batmans up to this point, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, Christian Bale, will exclude
George.
No, we'll exclude the Coonster. Were you what was your thoughts on how he was portrayed and how Batman was portrayed in this trailer?
From what I'm seeing, I like that there's a complexity. There's an angry side to him. There's a nice touch of, like, we always joke, oh, he's a rich vigilante. He's a rich vigilante. That's he doesn't have any superpowers. I mean, people talk about it all the time, like, oh, he's not really a superhero. He doesn't have superpowers. He just has money. I completely disagree. But it's nice that they're pushing that. They're pushing the anger. They're pushing the almost, it feels like, vengeance angle, the personal side of the destruction that Superman had. I mean, that's what I'm gathering from the trailers, that it looks like the sequence at the end of Man of Steel bears some consequence to what happens in this movie, which is nice to see, because I, for the most part, had a problem with sort of just the overall destruction of that movie without there being any stakes. Yeah. So I think they're answering that question. They're listening to people who had a little criticism of that, and they're playing into this, which may have been their plan all along, but for someone like me, I appreciate it. Yeah. So I like the dark side of Batman that would be kind of fun to see Ben Affleck play. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, when you, like, this is the thing, like, obviously, based off the films that we've seen in the past, that's why when we say, oh, it's the dark side of Batman, in the comics, that's the true side of Batman. It might be the first time we're seeing it on film. And it's the first time we're seeing on film the correct way. Potentially, based on the trailer. And I think they're getting it right, because, like what you said, they're pushing the rage. This is the thing, like, Batman, and, like, even, like, on the panel, they said, look, we're referencing The Dark Knight Returns, which is how Batman comes back after, like, being away for so long. Right. But it's not what the complete story's about, but it did influence this kind of the Batman v Superman and that helps lend itself to making sense to me, so that's that'd be good. And that's the thing, like, in this one, the way Batman is portrayed is that he's someone that people are scared, like, legitimately scared of. Not like Christian Bale's, where he's like, oh my, I might get busted and sent to jail. Like, no, this guy's gonna beat the living hell out of you. When you see the shot in the trailer where the criminal is branded, he's branding people with the bat symbol. It's like, and when you see the guy, he's bloodied, he's chained up to a gate. Yeah, it's very violent. That's the way Batman is. Right. He's very angry. He's not trying to prove some civil duty. No, he's pissed. No, I do think Zack Snyder will bring that grit to it for sure. Like regardless of what you think about Ben Affleck playing that, the character that they have written on the page is correct. So literally, all you have to do is just do what the page is telling you to do, Ben Affleck, and it looks like they get it. That's the one thing I took away from the trailers. I feel like I was most nervous about. I mean, I'm still nervous about Zack Snyder, but Ben Affleck's performance, from what we could see, actually alleviated a lot of my concerns. It looks really cool because he's very angry, and, like, the one thing that you notice is, like, they tie in a lot of what ends up building his rage from the dark, like, from Batman mythology. Like, I remember when I came to talk to you about the trailer, like, why was that random Robin suit there? And why was there all that graffiti? I didn't have that context. Basically, like, the reason he's been away for so long was because his Jason, like, one of the Robins that he had with him, like, Jason Todd, I'm going to assume that they're going to be using that one, where he gets killed. He gets killed by the Joker, and that's why when you see the chest, like, haha, the joke's on you, Batman. And Batman blames himself, is essentially. He blames himself because he felt like he could have done something for that. So obviously, he eventually hangs it up. He's like, I'm done. Like, this world, screw it. I don't care anymore. Yeah. Not so much like, there's nothing left I could do. He's just, I don't care anymore. Right. He stopped giving a crap about people. And then when you see this trailer, the repercussions of what happened from Man of Steel, and he sees all the people
from his building and around his building in Gotham City get like killed.
Yeah.
It's like for him, he's just like, and he's looking for someone.
Has to do something.
And in the trailer, he's like who the hell is this Superman guy? And then in the trailer, when you hear what's her name, the actress? I forget her name. Holly Hunter. Holly Hunter. When she's like you have to be held responsible for that. They show Batman's face when she says that. Mm-hmm. Batman's holding him responsible for that, and he's like, you know what, man? Like this guy's going off unchecked. Like
someone has to provide a balance.
Someone has to provide a balance, and and in the trailer again, Perry White, Lawrence Fishburne's character, the head of the Daily Planet, when Clark Kent's voiceover saying, "Oh, this Batman is a one man like a terrorist,
like wrecking crew."
He says something along the lines of that, and Perry White's like, "Who are you to decide what is right?"
Right.
And he's telling him as like, even though he's Clark Kent, he's telling him as Superman. He's like, who are you to decide what's right? You can't meddle with everything.
Yeah.
Who are you to decide that? And that's what Ben Affleck is going after. He's like, no, man, you brought this upon us. You brought this ridiculousness upon us.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm gonna hold you accountable. You're the one with the blood on your hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to take you out. And
good intentions don't mean as much in this movie, which is interesting. It's like you have to realize what the consequences.
Yeah, because the ideals are both the same. Because like you see Superman, you're like, he stands for good. Batman, he stands for good of the people too.
Yeah.
The problem is it's a battle of ideals. We've never seen good versus good before on film, and that's what's exciting. You're just like,
it's like, complex, which is refreshing.
It's really it's kind of hard what you make out of it unless you've read the story. But that's what leads me to my next point, because my theory is, and I think I was talking to my brother about this yesterday, who's really knowledgeable about the stuff. I think what Batman does, and instead of what like Nick Fury was doing with the Avengers, instead of going after an enemy, Batman recruits the Justice League. He's like, we have to kill Superman. Like, I know you guys exist, because like if you guys are familiar with Batman mythology, there's a storyline called Justice League Doom, and in that Batman, even though the Justice League already exists, Batman, because since he's the only pure human out of anyone there, everybody else is either alien or some weird freak. He has to find a way. Is like, okay, I need an escape plan, quote unquote, or an emergency safety plan in case one of these guys go rogue and go bad. So what he has a personal file, a secure file of how to kill each individual Justice League member.
So he assembles them, but he has that sort of backdoor exit.
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, he knows the Justice League exists. He knows that these members exist. And I think in the trailer, when you see him looking at Wonder Woman outside, I think he's trying to recruit. He's like, look, I know you're around. Yeah. There's this. I know you've been like laying low, but there's this dude that just. We need to take him out.
Yeah,
I need you a part of my team.
It's our job to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my theory, and I think that's what would be really cool.
It does make sense, especially if we think the DC universe is as connected as it should be.
Yeah. Based off that, like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, what do you think? What do you think her role is in all this?
I think that Justice League angle is really interesting.
Yeah.
I think I'm intrigued by the way that she. I'm very skeptical for her as an actress, so I don't really know if I can even lend myself to the conversation, because I'm so nervous that my limited experience of her is like tainting what I think she can do in this.
Yeah.
Because I've only ever seen her in like
she's only been in one real
movies.
movie.
Like, so I don't really know in terms of like the quality of the performance, but I do like the angle they're taking, even in the limited shots of the trailer.
Yeah.
Of just she's not just like this, sort of patriotic, character, this caricature that I think that character evolved into in recent iterations, because she's a much more complex character in the comics, from what I understand. So. Yeah. If they do even a glimpse of that, I think it'd be cool. I
think I know we talk about this whenever we try to understand Man of Steel. It's like how do we warp? Like it's hard to relate to Superman. Right. It's like he's not this thing. In Man of Steel, you kind of got that because you're just like there's a hologram dad. I remember you said, and I'm like it's just like what's going on here?
And I've always had a hard time really loving Superman just because he is perceived to be this like. Perfect, there's just this idealistic side of him that I've never really liked. That's why I think I'm gonna like Batman in this storyline. I'm gonna side with him.
And that's the thing. Like I think what was missing in Man of Steel was a human perspective for the story.
Yeah.
And I think this one we get that with Bruce Wayne. And Bruce Wayne is the human perspective we were lacking with Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And now that we're seeing like all this stuff, like Ben Affleck's character is gonna be like we're gonna see it through him, and I think we're gonna relate to that more. And I think that like just from grounding perspective, we're gonna basically have someone finally to relate to and say, okay, how do we through that lens, how do we make sense of all this stuff as a human being? Because like when we said like you see Superman doing all this destruction, you get numb to it. Now
that's exactly how I felt in Man of Steel. I was numb to it by the second hour. If this was the intention all along, I might appreciate Man of Steel more after the fact.
And that's the thing, like Batman v Superman. Like now that in my opinion, I think Bruce Wayne and Batman are going to be working with Lex Luthor, Jesse Eisenberg's character, because he has the kryptonite. He's like, look, help me build this suit. I'll kill Superman. Yeah. I'll do it. And Jesse Eisenberg's, yeah, go right ahead, bro. Yeah. Here's this kryptonite.
He's like, I'm not going to get my hands on it.
And like now he's going to ground him to like almost not as crazy like superhero levels anymore.
No,
he's
going to be closer. Level the playing
he's mortal
field.
now. Yeah. And he's like, all right. You think? Let's see you explode a building now, motherfucker! Like, and I'm excited. It's exciting. Like,
it'd be funny if the third act is just like a street fight.
Overall, like we still don't know. Like, obviously, eventually they're gonna have to turn on Lex Luthor, but we don't know. That the trailer is still very vague.
Later,
but it's exciting because we see that Holly Hunter's obviously in his pocket, Lex Luthor's pocket, because like you could tell like she goes to him. We see that shot where she's kind of looking like, "What should I do?" kind of face, and then Lex Luthor's like. The greatest lie in American history.
Oh yeah.
Devils don't come from the earth beneath us; they come from the sky. That's so well written.
It's a good line.
That's so good. But like now that based off like I'm just excited. Like overall, just to wrap this up, is that it's really, like a lot of people always dog superhero movies recently. They're like, oh, superhero movies are like the director who directed Birdman, like Alejandro González Iñárritu. He's like. He said, "Oh, it's like cultural genocide."
Yeah, which is hyperbole.
Which is a little extreme, but at the same time, it's like you can't group all superhero movies because of what Marvel does. Right now, Marvel is the only studio really pumping these things out, and you can say, "Oh yeah, all these movies suck." It's like no, that's just one studio. Now that we have Warner Bros. And DC trotting out their stuff, when tonally it looks like the exact opposite of what Marvel's doing, and as a comic book fan and even as a movie fan, you're happy because now you have those.
We have variety.
We have variety now. Yeah. Now we have we have that ability to not necessarily choose which one we like or more.
You don't have to choose, which is the nice thing about it.
You could watch a movie like Suicide Squad and then watch the exact opposite in Guardians of the Galaxy.
You can like both. It's okay.
It's exciting. You get that variety, and I'm really excited because as a movie person, you want that.
And I think what we've talked about this before is that Marvel. They're almost a little bit resting on their laurels, where I think some of their recent movies have been sort of, here's the cookie cutter of what you'd expect. Now, with competition, I feel like they're going to step up their game for the next film. So it's only going to make every film better.
It's awesome, because I'm kind of, as a comic book movie fan, and I'm kind of tired of Marvel. I want something new.
You get desensitized
and we're getting
to the
that
same thing, yeah. Exactly.
We're getting something new, so I'm excited. But overall, are you more excited for this movie based off the trailer?
Yes, because I had very little expectations. Yes. I will just leave it at that. I am more excited.
I am hella excited.
There's still a little bit of skepticism.
I am all in on DC's movie slate now. I'm all in. We can have a show about that later, but it's okay. Exactly. All right, so next, our last big studio that we're covering is 20th Century Fox.
I'm excited about this
because they did Fantastic Four, but that's about it. But now we're gonna transition to Deadpool, which arguably probably won the weekend.
Yeah. Oh,
dude, it was
absolutely.
Like I know this is the thing. We're gonna preface this. They showed footage. They haven't officially released it yet. It's going to be released in 3 weeks, according to Ryan Reynolds, probably around the time when Fantastic Four opens. I will say this. We'll hint about what they talked about there, because not everybody could see it.
No, and there are descriptions, so if you wanted to read out what was in the trailer, you can find out, for sure. Like, you can read about it.
If you guys have a chance to watch the panel, like, if you Google or YouTube, say, Deadpool Comic-Con panel, it was like, you want to talk about like getting the tone right.
You get a glimpse
when
of
they
it.
trot out T.J. Miller. Ryan Reynolds comes out. He's like, it looks like you guys are ready for the fucking chimichangas or something. I'm like, yes, dude. Like, this is so. It looks like such a fun movie. Like everybody, you could tell from the director to like the actors. Like you could tell they had. This is the movie that they wanted to make.
Yeah.
And they put it on screen.
Almost never happens.
Which never happens. Because when you have a studio-led movie, it's like, you're going to have notes. You're going to say, that's not kind of what we're going for. It's a little too extreme.
Which I'm sure they still got, but at the same time, like, to be able to say you're going to make a rated R...
hard R movie.
Superhero, like,
it's really cool. Like, it's the thing, like, cursing abound and everything. But let's quickly talk about the footage that, like, briefly. Yeah. They just say, like, obviously, it looks like they go through a quick origin story. It's like, he has cancer throughout his body. and like
he has a sense of humor still.
He has a sense of humor, and they totally took a shot at the Green Lantern. He's like, we're gonna have to put you in a suit. He's like, all right, don't make it green. Don't make it animated, like, please. Oh my gosh,
it's so good.
That's great. Like,
which adds to that fourth wall thing that he does.
It's so good, and like when he's full on Deadpool, like what we were talking about earlier. I think what's gonna make this really cool because like when you like for those of you that were able to see the footage, you illegal jerks. Like,
don't do it because it looks terrible.
It looks terrible, but like I know a lot of people have seen it anyway. But like, what tonally, when you have him in his costume amongst other people, everybody else looks normal, and then he shows up.
Right.
It sells that. Who is this guy? It sells.
In a good way.
It sells that like ridiculousness because like I made the point to you earlier today that when you watch a movie like Batman Forever where everybody's just eccentric and whatever,
you can't focus on it.
You can't. It's just like, oh well, everybody's weird.
Yeah, but then colors. Like, it's like Dr. Seuss almost.
Yeah, and then like when you watch this one dude who's ridiculous, it's just like it really adds to the humor and
you
like,
can't stop looking at him. You're just
like
what?
Yeah, like in the trailer, it's just like my favorite part. Like the to capture what the footage said was the end line between him and T.J. Miller. It's like, you look like an avocado had sex with an older avocado,
and he just goes, "Thank you."
It's so awesome, but based off that, I can't be any more excited because this comes out in February. Obviously, the trailer's gonna come soon. I am so excited for this. So excited. Just
to throw my 2 cents in, I had absolutely no idea what this was going to be like.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew he was going to bring footage along with him, but I'm dying to see this movie.
This movie looks great because, like, just briefly, like, this is the thing that's hard. Like, I know, like, our buddy Sean, who, like, he's a huge fan of Deadpool. Like, knows the stories, like, back to, like, front to back.
Yeah.
And like the one thing, like when you talk about Deadpool, there's no definitive storyline that you can say, all right, that's the one we do.
And there's so much freedom in that.
Yeah, like, so you could do anything. Like you could have him drop into the next Fantastic Four, like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm in the wrong movie. Sorry, guys.
Could you imagine if they did that?
They will. This thing, like, if this hits, and I think it will, they're gonna do it. Like, guys, like,
he just makes cameos.
If we're only allowed 4 curse words, all of them are coming from Deadpool. Yeah. So it's really exciting. But yeah, I just, man, this movie, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
It doesn't really need anything else. It's just. Actually, no. Just to end on this.
Yeah.
Unless we need anything
no,
else to say.
That's it.
They loved the trailer so much in Hall H. They showed it twice.
They literally called for an encore. They're like, one more time.
And they literally just ran it again.
They ran it again. That's never been done.
That's insane.
They usually always play it a second time. Like for Batman v Superman, they're like, hey, in case you missed it, like Zack Snyder's like, hey, we'll play it again because it moves really fast. And they played it again, but like they were not planning.
It.
The fans they did not plan on playing it again. And then Chris Hardwick said, I have the power here. I'm gonna play it one more time, and it was just it stole the show.
Oh, it's
Everybody was talking about that throughout the weekend, and like for the X-Men panel, the X-Men Apocalypse panel, Nicholas Hoult was asked like, "Hey, talk about your character Beast in this movie." He's like, "Dude, I can't even like." I'm still thinking about the Deadpool.
How do you top that?
He's like, dude, I can't. I'm still thinking about the Deadpool trailer.
That's what's so great. There's so many fans on the panels, let alone like the people in the audience. So it's awesome. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, but like then the last panel from the Mega Studio that we're talking about is X-Men Apocalypse. Mm-hmm. But they showed footage. Well, we're not going to talk about the footage they showed,
right?
Because even though it was leaked, like we're not into that.
Yeah.
We're not into like unless it's officially out, we're not going to talk about it.
Principles,
and like they still. Like this thing, like they've only been shooting for 5 weeks. Whatever they showed,
super work in progress.
They're nowhere near having a finished product. So let's hold off on the criticism and let's hold off on the discussion.
Agreed.
That being said, at the end they did take this really cool superhero selfie. They brought out all the 20th Century Fox superhero properties, Fantastic Four, Deadpool, and all the X-Men. And Stan Lee came out and said, "Hey, let's all take a selfie." But who came out to bring a camera?
Tell me.
Channing Tatum,
your favorite guy,
dude. Channing Tatum. This is the thing.
I'm sensing a theme.
And this is the thing. There was like Channing Tatum came out and brought a camera. Was wearing a Gambit shirt, and he was like, "Oh, hey!" And I remember our last show when we were previewing it, I was like,
"What was your biggest concern?"
I was like, "Hey, he might make an appearance, and if he does, I'm interested in seeing if he brings out the voice." And what did he do? Holy crap!
Ladies and gentlemen, Adrian noticed this. No one else seemed to notice this.
This is not even a joke. No other news outlet caught this. Like no one did. Because I watched the panel after it was on. It came on, and he came out, and really briefly. He talks to the crowd because he had his own microphone. Yeah. I think he was supposed to talk a little bit more, but since they were wrapping up already, he did speak in Gambit voice. He did. He's I can't even do it right now because he said, "How's everybody doing out there?" And he said it in the Cajun accent because everybody knows how Tatum talks.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's like, "How's everybody doing out there?" And I'm like, holy shit.
He did it.
He's like, that's the Gambit voice.
And I feel like that was all you needed to at least be like, alright.
That's it. That's all I needed.
Fine.
Because like, you know how like I said in Star Wars, like, oh, show us a TIE fighter just flying by the screen, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Yeah. That's all I needed. For him, if he just spoke a line, it was all I needed, and he spoke a line. And it was so good. He had the hairstyle already. You could tell he's already getting ready for the hairstyle.
Yeah. Yep.
But and then they also showed the slate. They showed the first official image. It's like this old wooden card. It says Gambit on it, and it's really cool. I'm excited. This is the thing. Like that was the thing. The moment I took away from the X-Men Apocalypse panel because they were kind of boring. They didn't really talk about.
Yeah, anything. I mean, everyone's excited for the movie. Whatever.
Yeah, you know, it comes out in, I believe in May next year. But when Gambit came out, I was like, yes, that's all I needed. That's the thing. Like, you piqued my interest. He was supposed to talk more. Didn't. Oh well, but I caught it. Yeah, I was the only one that cared. I caught it. But no, like X-Men Apocalypse, we won't really talk about. They didn't really do anything. So I'm still excited for it. I'm not less excited for it, but I'm more excited about Gambit. All right, so like. All right, let's talk about other panels outside of the superhero genre.
Real quick. I would like to just say that Hateful Eight looks as cool as I would have thought it would.
Awesome panel.
Awesome panel. I mean, if you're like a film geek like we are, like just having Quentin Tarantino just unfiltered, just saying whatever he wants to, talking about maybe making a jump to TV, wanting to do another Western to officially be a Western director.
Yeah, because he made the joke. If you guys like this thing, like, watch the panels. They're actually a lot of fun.
Yeah,
like and in the panel, he's like, look, like someone asks him, like, hey, you know, now you're making more Westerns. Like, is this like a thing now? Yeah. And he's like, look, man, you know, I'm gonna like. You know, I think you can't consider yourself like a Western director unless you make 3.
I feel like he just lives off of energy drinks. It's incredible. It's incredible.
He's like, yeah, you know, I'll make one more so I can be legitimately considered a Western director.
Because he would make that rule up for himself.
He'll
make an awesome movie.
He's a film dude. Like, we all love him.
And then speaking of that, real quick, is the fact that they're shooting on some of the same lenses that Ben.
The exact same lenses.
Exact same lenses. They're shooting in 70mm, so there's going to be a lot of, not all the screenings, but there will be special screenings where you can see this film in 70mm. Please go do that. Yeah. They haven't done that in years.
Yeah, because like you were saying right now, like they use the exact same lenses as they used in Ben-Hur.
Which is a gorgeous movie. Like, it's long, but, I mean, a lot of movies back then were long.
Yeah, it's just to capture that feel, like, you know, you figured, like, why don't you make another damn lens like that? Why do you have to use the exact same one?
Yeah, but that's the same thing. It's like, shift away from it.
You know, if you're making a Star Wars movie, and if you had the chance to use the same lightsaber Luke Skywalker used, you want to use it. Yeah.
Do it. It's a cool, like, cookie. And
it's a little Easter egg. It's like a little cool thing.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, like, that panel was so much fun. I watched it this morning. It was so cool. Like, that cast looked like they had a blast.
And Morricone,
Ennio Morricone,
the composer from a lot of westerns back in like the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Somehow Tarantino got him to do the music for this movie.
Yeah,
he hasn't done a western in 40 years.
40 years. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's almost
really
as cool as the John Williams stuff. But
like, and there was a really neat moment that I really liked from that panel where like they a fan asked Tarantino, hey, how'd you cast Damian Bashir, the Mexican actor?
Right.
And he's like, how did you, like, why did you pick him? And he tells this really cool story. He's like, man, I was writing the script, and the first draft, he was a Frenchman, and then he's like, you know what, I changed it to a Mexican. Doesn't say why, but then he's like, when he called up his buddy Robert Rodriguez, who directed Desperado and all the cool Machete movies.
Yep.
Quote unquote cool. They're cool. He calls him up and he's like, "Hey man, I wrote this Mexican part. Can you recommend me some Mexican actors that you've worked with?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Dude, I don't even need to know the part. Damian Bashir, this guy's badass.
It's so cool.
Like, just stop talking. Just like
call
cast him."
Go.
And I'm like, dude, that's so cool. Like buddies call they're just these mega directors and they just call each other. It's like, here man, call this guy. And then right after the Damian Bashir is all like, "Thank you, Robert Rodriguez."
That's
dude.
so cool.
That's so awesome. But no, what's the other panel that you want to talk about? Speaking of Mexicans.
Just a quick thing on Crimson Peak. I mean, we've seen a bit of a teaser trailer that's been out for a few months. It looks awesome. The film looks beautiful.
Yeah.
They showed a full trailer that hasn't been released yet, and I'm dying to watch it because all the feedback on Twitter when they were live tweeting was that it is exponentially better as a trailer, and it reaffirms just how gorgeous the movie is.
Yeah.
I mean, the cast looks awesome. They're actually doing a haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood only. That is going to be basically about this movie. I think it's going to be really good.
Good luck getting into that one.
Yeah, I know, seriously.
Dude.
Yeah, one can hope. But that's another movie that I'm really excited about that, like we said, is not coming out in Halloween. It's coming out later. So to just have the gall to be like, we're going to do a scary movie in the middle of winter, essentially. Yeah. You know, it's to have the balls to do that. It's kind of cool. So I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, like I'm very excited for it. You know, I know we talked earlier. I'm a little bit skeptical about Del Toro because he's been only focusing on producing. But this is the first movie that he seriously wants to direct.
He put a lot of love into this one.
Pacific Rim was cool.
It's fun.
It's a live action anime. It's a fun movie. But you know, it's fun. But you know, we want to see him go back to like the Pan's Labyrinth style of directing.
Exactly. This has depth. I feel like.
And I'm excited about it because you have a good cast. You have Tom Hiddleston, Jessica Chastain, Mia. Watch out, I can't even pronounce her name.
I don't even try to.
She was in Alice in Wonderland. Let's not talk about it anymore. But no, it looks like a cool movie. I'm a big fan. Like I know you and I talk about we're big horror movie fans. Yeah. We like creepy as opposed to jump scare, and this looks like creepy. Yeah. So I'm really excited about it. But no, this was honestly like a really fun weekend for Comic-Con.
Oh my god, it was incredible.
It was so much fun. Incredible. But let's kind of answer like the questions everybody wants to know. Rapid fire though. Let's do this really quick.
Okay.
All right. In your opinion, who was the biggest disappointment?
Oh my goodness. I feel like even though I personally loved this particular one, I feel like the consensus is that Lucasfilm didn't deliver.
Yeah, but is it yours though?
Is it mine?
Don't be swayed by the people. Me.
I'm still skeptical about Man vs. Steel, to be honest.
You thought that was the biggest disappointment?
Not the biggest disappointment. I don't think there was anything that was overtly disappointing. X-Men, maybe.
Okay.
Was there anything that you saw that was like overtly like, God, that was horrible? Like
there was not. Well, this is the thing. Like my biggest disappointment was The Force Awakens, just because they could have been more creative in their style of the way they wanted to do it.
Right. So I think the consensus is that they were the big. I just don't know personally if I have something that fits that bill. Like X-Men could have shown more.
Just give it to Fantastic Four. They deserve it.
Yeah, fine.
Fantastic
exactly.
Four. All right.
Wonderful for not showing up.
Alrighty. Best panel.
Best panel. I'm gonna go Star Wars. I have to.
You liked it?
I have to.
That's fine. But like, no, go ahead.
No. I liked the fact that you saw like the span of the 30 years of people. It's kind of cool.
Now, that's a good panel to watch. Please watch it. Yeah, I recommend the hell out of the Deadpool panel. It was so much fun. Yes. You could tell they had a blast on it. They go into detail how they film scenes and all that stuff. It's really neat, man. You guys need to check that out.
They're two very different panels.
Yeah, obviously. One was really buttoned up, like, oh, yeah, we're doing Star Wars. The other one is just like, the other one was just like, talking about people fucking horses, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, this is awesome.
They did.
They did. I'm not making that up.
Yeah, it's absurd. It's absurd.
Really cool. It's really cool. Go check that out. Okay. Yes. All right. Who won the weekend though?
I'm gonna say Suicide Squad.
Okay.
I'm going to say Suicide Squad because you're in the same studio as Man vs. Steel.
Yeah.
The consensus is that Man vs. Steel is gonna win in that universe.
Yeah.
And I don't think it did. I think Suicide Squad killed it. I think that trailer was incredible. The fact that Jared Leto wasn't there is awesome because it just sells more of it. And they'll be back next year. They'll be back next year. Exactly. And they didn't say anything. They were like kind of there, and that was enough. Like that's awesome. Like
that's really cool.
I think Suicide Squad won.
Suicide Squad was one of my favorite moments. And Deadpool, obviously, since we didn't see the footage, regardless, it's tough to say. Obviously, they had a blast doing it. I think overall, Batman v Superman won the weekend.
You think so?
I think so. Just because not only was the footage amazing, but they answered a lot of really good questions on the panel.
Okay.
And they also had the really cool little moment where Ben Affleck told a really cool story. He's all like, he actually told a couple cool stories. Cause he's like, when they asked him, like, oh, what was your reaction when they cast you as Batman? Like,
it's gotta be surreal.
Yeah, and he was just like, he's like, at first I was kind of resistant to it. He's like, but then like Zack Snyder came up to me and said, this is the way we want to do it. I envision this guy, who's beaten down, wore down, like at the end of his rope. Total loser, and then everybody just starts laughing. He's just like, I guess I'm right for the part, man. That's
true.
me.
You're like, Zach, what are you doing?
He's like, but no, he nailed the character. Yeah. But then he told another quick story. He's like, there was one around Halloween after he got casted. He's taking his son out because his son wanted to be Batman, like a good son. He would be like, I want to be like Daddy. Yeah. So he goes to a Halloween store in wherever the hell he was. And he goes there, and guess who's in the same aisle buying a Batman costume for his son? Christian Bale.
You have got to be kidding me.
Christian Bale was there, and he's there with his son.
Story.
And his son wanted to be Batman too. And then Ben Affleck's like, "Oh, hey man, I'm a big fan." He's like, and he asked him, he's like, "Hey, do you have any advice?" And he did the Christian Bale voice. He's like, "Make sure you can take a piss in our suit, man." And he basically just told us, like, hey, make sure you can take a piss in the Batman suit.
You're going to be in the thing all day.
And then Zack Snyder's like, we built in a zipper. And it was totally neat. It was a really cool story.
That doesn't even seem real.
But no,
imagine
overall,
being like the person who worked at that store. Like, what the hell is going on?
I can't even process this. Oh my god! Like that's so cool. But like that's the thing. Like they won the weekend. The footage, the information, like the fact. It looks really cool. Everything's tying in together. I love the Suicide Squad trailer, but I think overall, Batman v Superman is going to be a special movie.
I think they lived up to the expectations, which was hard to do.
And then at the end of the day, based off what this Comic-Con, based off only what happened at Comic-Con.
Yep.
What are you more excited about seeing now? It doesn't matter. You could go to like Crimson Peak, anything.
There's some TV shows that I'm excited about, but I think movie-wise in this comic universe, I'm dying to see Suicide Squad now.
Okay.
I'm dying to see Deadpool too.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, my sensibilities, like, I mean, I love raunchy humor, like, Superbad's one of my favorite movies, but, like, I feel like Suicide Squad's gonna, like, appeal to me the most.
I agree. I can't wait to see Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Even though, like, look, I talked to my brother.
Bad if it doesn't live up to your expectations.
I think it will, because it has the subtext of Watchmen. If you haven't seen Zack Snyder's Watchmen, watch it, because it's it's probably my favorite comic book movie ever.
Really?
It's that good, in my opinion. It's so well done. And I think there are a lot of themes from that.
Yeah.
And I think this one, with the characters he has to play with now, is going to be really cool. I think he's going to nail it. I think, believe me, I talked to my brother about this yesterday. I'm like, look, I'm really excited about Suicide Squad because maybe that's just me. And I like seeing a different take on superheroes, like bad versus evil is really cool angle.
It's intriguing.
But this is the story. This is like the 10 Commandments of like a comic book movie. It's like
that's daunting.
Imagine being like like really hardcore like Christian person and someone telling you we're gonna make the most faithful adaptation of the 10 Commandments ever made, and not directed by Ridley Scott, and not starring Christian Bale, and it's just like you'll be like, oh my lord, it's really cool.
You'd be intrigued to say the least.
That's basically this is what it is for everybody. Like this is for all the fans. But I think that's what I'm most excited about seeing.
Okay.
But no, that was our wrap-up Comic-Con. Tell us what you guys think. Go online.
Please do.
Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Send us an email saying, hey, that was really, what you guys should have talked about this and that.
We totally geeked out the entire weekend.
But I think, I think it was awesome. This was one of the more memorable ones. Good luck next year. Like Marvel, stay away. We don't need you anymore.
I don't believe that. I like having both.
I'm done. Like I'm not saying I'm done.
You're divorcing
but
Marvel.
Like DC, the way they did it, like Will Smith, like when he came out, and they had like this really cool like personal handshake, and they were like Suicide Squad, and I was just like, oh, that's so cool.
They like each other.
I'm just like, that's so cool. Like Marvel is just like, oh, we're just the big dogs now. No, not anymore.
It is true. They're puffing their chests out a little too much. I agree.
But that's all we have for Comic-Con. But we do have one more segment.
Yes.
Because what is opening this week?
This is very important. Okay, so we have 2 films coming out this week. Finally, I mean, it's been a little bit of a lull.
It's been a while since we reviewed a movie, but there hasn't been this. With all due respect, Minions looks like fun, but
it killed it at the box office.
But it's primarily it's not like something like Inside Out where there's actual meat to the story.
Right. And
Minions is just like, let's trot out these little dudes, let's be cute, and have Sandra Bullock.
To a sequel. It's just there's too much.
Yeah,
you have to see too many other movies.
It's a gimmick. Yeah.
It is.
But
it's a money making gimmick.
But now we have a legitimate. Now we have a battle.
We do have a battle, and I feel like we need to address it here and then leave it for our fans to help us figure out. We're unveiling our new. Do you trust our fans, by the way? Because they made you watch Magic Mike last time.
No, I trust all 4 of them. Like they're all really good people.
There are 5. My husband watches.
Oh, okay. I think he's not here anymore. No. I think he left.
He avoids us.
But we're unveiling a new segment. It's called the Versus segment.
Yes.
So basically, whatever we choose to versus on it, whatever argue about, we'll throw it in this segment. We go head to head. This week, we're going head to head on what we should review. Because what is opening for you that you're interested in?
Okay, so I'm interested in both, but the one that I'm more intrigued by is a film called Trainwreck. So, Amy Schumer's kind of the flavor of the month, flavor of the year, really. She's kind of taken over Comedy Central, and she hosted the MTV Movie Awards, I think it was. And she did a really good job with that, too. I mean, even my mom noticed that she was, hysterical, which that was not her demographic. The MTV Movie Awards are not my mom's demographic, but she loved her. And I think she has a time, she has an opportunity in this movie to take over cinema right now, in the way that I think Seth Rogen did with Knocked Up. I feel like after Knocked Up, he was in everything for the following 3 years, which may or may not have been a good thing. But I genuinely want to see Trainwreck, and we can bounce back and forth a little bit, but...
And you're missing, like, the star of the movie, though.
LeBron James.
Oh my
and
God.
Bill Hader.
This is the thing, everyone that I talk to about that movie, like, oh, I want to see Trainwreck. Oh, that's really cool, the Amy Schumer movie. Oh, LeBron's in it. I'm like, go kiss an ass. Like, just find any ass. And I don't say that... Yeah, this is the thing, like a literal ass. Like, find a donkey and go kiss it. I don't give a crap. I'm like, unless it's Space Jam, I don't care that LeBron James is in a movie. He's not going to be the star.
I'd be so mad.
It's funny that it's cool that he's kind of being funny, but yeah, whatever.
But it could be a disaster, which could be hysterical. It could be a train wreck. Sorry.
Speaking of train wrecks, the other movie, the real train wreck, Ant-Man is opening this weekend. Ant-Man. This is the thing. I'm arguing that we should review this movie, not Trainwreck.
You're not comic booked out?
I am not. No, it's not. This is the thing. Like, I don't want to give the perception that I only watch superhero movies. But this is the thing.
Oh no, you do watch 80s movies.
I watch 80s movies, and I also watch 90s movies. The Rock is a classic. Welcome to The Rock.
Feels like an 80s movie. Like,
no.
Jesus.
Welcome to The Rock. No, but like no. This is
That sounds like Sean Connery eating something.
No.
He's like chewing on marbles.
What did Deadpool say in this trailer? I'm not gonna say it.
No, we didn't see the trailer.
We didn't see the trailer. Okay, no, but this is the thing. I want to review this movie not because I want to see it, because I think pun intended. I think it's gonna be a train wreck.
It could be.
I think it is gonna be
train wreck. That like boring Marvel like.
This template. Is the thing. Yeah, this is the thing. Marvel has a template now. If you haven't noticed, with the crappy Age of Ultron, with the like, aside from Winter Soldier, there is a copy paste format to Marvel movies now. And Ant-Man looks like probably the most exaggerated, obvious form of that copy-paste format. Based off whatever happened with Edgar Wright, they literally rushed into a screenplay, rushed into getting all this stuff done. It seems really corny. The trailers don't do it for me. Yeah, there's some cool shots. Oh, Yellow Jacket. Whoa. Oh, I'm like, personally, I just want to see...
Can you tell who's rooting for this movie? Because he's the one arguing for it and is like,
I know, this is I want to see it because I want it... I know it sounds weird. I want it to crash and burn. I want Marvel to have a failure.
I want Marvel... It would be the worst time for them to have it. With DC on the rise...
Yeah, because think about it. You miss Comic-Con and when your movie's about to open...
Yeah, and this is what you're unveiling.
And that kind of sends like an interesting like message to me. It says like, let's just get this. We're not gonna spend that much money on marketing on this movie. Let's just make our money back.
They're doing the Fantastic Four thing. Where it's like,
let's just make our money back. That being said, I think Michael Pena is gonna be awesome. Like, this is the thing. Like, just be like, this is the thing. This movie is gonna be funny, but don't let that cloud you to think that it's a good movie.
Supporting cast aside, like, let's go with supporting cast for a second. You have Michael Pena. You think's gonna be good?
Yeah.
I have Tilda Swinton in my movie. Come on, in a comedy.
That's true.
That'd be awesome.
No, this is the thing. Like,
you can't even recognize her.
No, Bill Hader sounds really funny.
And Bill Hader,
that being said,
being like the normal
this is the thing.
Too.
If this is a failure, this would be like one of the epic failures that we need to witness. Yeah. We need to witness, like, oh my gosh, Marvel quote unquote made a big mistake, and it's like I want to see that because I think they need to be shocked into saying, okay, guys, we can't be doing what we're doing. Yeah, say what you want about Civil War, everything else sucks. Everything else sucks. Like Winter Soldier, everything else sucks. Everything's the same.
I loved Winter Soldier.
Avengers, cool movie, same format. I want to see something new, and with this one, I want to see this crash and burn. I'm excited for a failure of a movie from Marvel.
I feel like you feel the way about Ant-Man that I felt about Man of Steel.
You wanted to... No, but this is the thing. Like, I want to watch it to crash and burn. You didn't go into that thinking that it was going to crash and burn.
No, you're right. I was kind of hoodwinked by that fantastic trailer.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping didn't happen this time, too.
No. And that's, this movie has an awesome cast. You're going to get some laughs. Yeah, and you know what? Maybe we'll get a good post-credit scene as opposed to the crappy one we got in Age of Ultron. So we need to see how finally we get the connection. And supposedly there's a Doctor Strange one. Oh, that's going to be really cool. Benedict...
Aren't we sick of, like, watching... okay movies just to see 30 seconds
it's
of
not no
credits.
I want to see this because, and it sounds weird, it's like, oh yeah, maybe financially it'll do okay. I want this movie to be ripped apart, and I want to be there to rip it apart, so that when I release it to you, I'll be like, you know what, if you're gonna watch it, but don't come in until the post-credits start. That's what I want to be a part of.
Damn. But see, I feel like you're already thinking that, so do you even need to see the movie?
This is the thing, it has to impress me. It can't just, like, this thing, if this is okay, it's a failure.
Oh yeah, well, like we've said that before. Mediocrity in film is the worst thing. Like, if you're at 50%, you're on
dead.
Rotten Tomatoes, you're dead.
You're dead.
You better be like a 10 and suck so people see it and laugh at you, like Sharknado style. Or Trainwreck right now is at 100% on Rotten.
This is the thing, though. Do you want to see a movie that people are probably going to forget in a year? Trainwreck? Or do you want to watch a movie, the first Marvel movie to crash and burn?
But what about Thor 2? Didn't that movie kind of crash and burn?
Not really, no. There was a great post-credit scene.
That's not a good marker for Trainwreck, people. Judd Apatow directed it. He hasn't been directing.
If you want to see if you want to know about the real Trainwreck, hit up Ant-Man. Alright.
Son of a gun.
Alright, please, but hey, please, whether so this is our versus Trainwreck versus Ant-Man. Please hit up Facebook, hit up Twitter, let us know what you want to see. I don't want to experience another Magic Mike. I've seen enough balls in my face.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I guess he doesn't want to see a chick flick coming off of not even a chick flick, just a girls movie all around. Like
it looks like a funny movie. Like
it looks funny.
I would watch that with a costume on. Yeah, disguise.
Trainwreck?
What?
You walked in normal for Magic
No,
Mike.
I did not. I walked into Magic Mike saying, "Don't tell anybody." I'll see
sunglasses.
Hello, sir. I'll see the. I'm gonna watch the penis movie. Which way to the penis movie?
Alright, maybe just to help him out, we're gonna have to end up seeing Ant-Man. But I want to see Trainwreck.
No, I know that's the thing. Like, I'm interested in both, but I want to see. This is to be the epic fail we've been waiting for.
It could be.
Like, you know how like John Carter or that from Disney, how everybody talked about that, or the Lone Ranger.
Well, that's the thing is.
Don't you want to be a part of the experience and like say, oh, that was the worst movie experience of all time?
That's a different argument though, because people don't hate either of those movies. No one went to see them. There's a difference. They're not. Neither of them are shitty movies. It's just that people didn't see them as much as they probably should have been seen. I didn't. I've seen some of John Carter. I haven't seen it all the way through. So maybe I'm.
You did not like the movie.
Poo-pooing on my own argument.
Imagine that.
No, but true. Like as a critical thing, it wasn't a failure by critic standards. It's just that no one went to see them. Is that what's going to happen? Because I don't think that's going to happen. I think people are going to see this movie.
I think suck is defined as suck. All right, you can't manipulate the suck. All right, so let us know. Let us know. Do you want to witness the crash and burn that is Ant-Man, or do you want to witness the chick flick that you're going to forget about next year?
Which Trainwreck do you want to see?
Hey, there you go. That's the one. Yeah, which Trainwreck do you want to watch? All right, so let us know. But that's just about our show for today.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Check in with us later.
Yeah. So like,
we'll let you know soon. What the consensus is.
We'll let you know on Facebook and Twitter what we end up reviewing probably like around Thursday. So please get your votes in now.
Exactly. Because we have to decide what movie we're spending money on. So please help us.
Yeah. Like for goodness sake.
We're on a budget, yo.
For real, man. But no, let us know. And yeah, like this, like moments like Comic-Con are so much fun to recap because it's all about movies. It's all about movies. Say what you want about comic book movies. They're just one genre of movie. Who cares if they're making a lot of money or whatever? It's indie movies are always going to be indie movies. I'm going to get on a little rant. I'm going to stop now. But this is the thing, like, they're fun. Hateful Eight was at Comic-Con. You cannot hate.
No.
You cannot hate on Comic-Con when Hateful Eight is on Comic-Con.
He actually said that without stumbling, so we'll leave it at that. That was good.
That was really good.
That's good.
Right. Walking away.
Yeah. And with that, we'll see you when the credits roll.
Woo!
Sound like the start of a Will Smith song in the 90s. Woo!